Well, hey everybody, it is almost Christmas. I hope you're taking in all of the fun activities, the lights, the aesthetic. I love all of it. But if you would, for a moment, would you just imagine that it's February and imagine you need a car. You didn't get one for Christmas, you're a little bummed, but you need a car, and somebody comes to you and says, hey, I just want to give you my car. I want you to have it. They don't want anything for it. They just want to give it to you. First of all, imagine just the emotions that you'd feel. Like you'd feel gratitude, like I didn't do anything. Like I didn't do anything to earn this. I didn't ask for it. I didn't like write a secret note to Santa or anything. Like you just gave it to me. And imagine how you would feel toward that person. Like you would feel a deep sense of love that they care for you, that they want what's best for you. What would we call that? I would call it grace. That someone gave you something you didn't necessarily earn. In fact, you may have even done something to not deserve it, and that person gives it to you anyway. That's what we call grace in the scriptures. And so I want to read a story today about the grace of God and what that has to do with how we surrender ourselves to Him. So it's a very familiar story. If you have your Bibles, turn to Luke chapter 1, and we're going to be in verses 26 through 38. I'm going to read it for us right now. In the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent by God to a town in Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin engaged to a man named Joseph of the house of David. The virgin's name was Mary. And the angel came to her and said, "Greetings, favored woman, the Lord is with you." But she was deeply troubled by this statement, wondering what kind of greeting this could be. Then the angel told her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. Now listen, you will conceive and give birth to a son, and you will name him Jesus. He will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High, and the Lord God will give him the throne of his father David. He will reign over the house of Jacob forever, and his kingdom will have no end." Mary asked the angel, "How can this be, since I have not had sexual relations with a man?" The angel replied to her, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Therefore, the Holy One to be born will be called the Son of God. And consider your relative Elizabeth. Even she has conceived a son in her old age, and this is the 6th month for her who is called childless. For nothing will be impossible with God." "I am the Lord's servant," said Mary. "May it be done to me according to your word." Then the angel left her. This is a really beautiful story, and I think that there are a couple of steps we get before we get to Mary's surrender. How did she get there? How did she get to the point where she could fully surrender to the will of God and say, "I'm the Lord's servant"? Well, I think it starts with the grace of God. You might have caught it. It says in verse 28, the angel greeted her and said, "Greetings, favored woman." The word favored is rooted in the word grace. And I think that's important for us to put together. Mary did not earn any favor from God. Mary did not work hard to get in this position. God's favor is tied to God's grace. God's grace is extended toward humanity first. And so when the angel greets her and says, "Favored woman," know that it's not Mary who has earned the favor. It's God who has extended it. It's God's grace that has gone and been given to Mary. And so it's live a life of surrender, to surrender to God. It starts by knowing that God's grace extends first. But what happens after that? Well, what is the product of God's grace? We read it here that Mary will conceive and give birth to a son that will be named Jesus. You might have heard of him before. Jesus' name is a Greek version of the Hebrew name Joshua. Joshua means Yahweh saves. And so Jesus himself will be the one that will save his people. And that's the second point I want us to know today, that God's grace is extended toward us, yes, and that grace is extended in the person of Jesus. We're all sinners. We're all fallen. We all do not meet the standard that we must meet. And God's grace is extended toward us in that we didn't earn it. In fact, we did a lot to not deserve it. But God's grace goes forth and it comes to us in a person. It comes to us in the person of Jesus, the one who will save his people from their sins, just as the Gospel of Matthew tells us. So God's grace extends. It's extended in the person of Jesus. And what does this result in? This results in Mary saying, I am the Lord's servant. See, Mary recognized that God's grace has been given to her, and that God's grace is actually going to be given to everybody, that Jesus is going to go and he is going to live a perfect life that you and I can't. We're not doing, and we can't do it. He's going to live a life full of compassion and mercy, not just for his own people, but for the people of the whole world. And that life is going to end with him on a cross, dying for the sins of the people that did not want him, the people that did not deserve him. But he's going to freely do it for the love that he has for us. And he's going to rise again from the dead to give us new life so that those who put their faith in Jesus can have new life in him, in his sacrifice. So what do we do with this story? How do we apply this text? I think two things. One, know and believe that God's grace has come to us. We can live in a constant state of anxiety, of not knowing how do we live a life to please God. Like, how can I make God happy? How can I make sure that he loves me and that he cares for me and that I'm actually a believer? And I just want to put all that to rest. And I want you to know that God's grace is extended toward you first. God's grace has been extended to us in the person of Jesus, that all you need to do is put your faith in that person. Put your faith in the one who has been extended from God in a gracious act to save us. And the second thing I want us to know, we put our faith in Jesus, and from that, we surrender to the Lord. We surrender not out of a sense of obligation, but of a sense of freedom, that our God has shown love to us, has shown favor to us, and we can freely surrender ourselves to that, knowing that not only does he love us, but he knows what's best for us. So I hope that you see this story and you know that God's grace has been extended to us in the person of Jesus, and that it's from that grace we surrender our lives to.